No, yeah.
Okay. Now
We're
we
going?
Are. Yes, we are.
We're on.
Audio live.
Video live. Yo, Two Detroit Nerds is the show that never stops.
Can't
We're back
stop.
again. Did I say it
You
wrong?
said never.
Is it the show that
It can't stop now. Remember, we
Oh,
upgraded.
yeah, that's
it was
true.
The show that doesn't stop.
Yeah, but now
we're
it's the show that can't stop. You're right. You're right. That's the 2024 branding.
Yes.
That we've now changed it to. Ladies and gentlemen, another episode of Two Detroit Nerds. We're back here in 2024. I know you guys can hear how crispy clean our voices sound.
It's insane.
I know. It's the difference, like the little differences, you know, in production, putting time and effort into like selecting the right gear for the type of show we're trying to do. It pays off. And
those vocal classes Alicia Keys gave us, I mean, we just know how to talk right into the mic this time. Like,
Yep.
It's nuts.
That was a big one.
Yeah.
You know, it was crazy because back when we used to work with Swiss Beats, because I actually taught him how to like make most of
Of course,
his.
it makes sense.
Yeah, well, because at that time, you know, I was pretty much teaching everybody.
Yeah.
Production. It was kind of like just open classes, you know. But it was crazy because he was actually the one who was like, "Yo, you'd be great doing podcasts," and I was like, "What?"
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, I think I would, but he was like, you know, take some time, figure it out, find a good co-host. So you know, it took a little while, but it's crazy how things just happen. You just, you know.
It's even crazier that he's light skinned.
Right.
And gave you the idea to get a good co-host, and what do I just so happen to be?
Yep. It's wild, man.
Yeah,
it's
is
wild.
nuts, bro.
Yeah, man.
Comes back.
But we're back again. We got another great week to talk about. I've been lower on my anime intake than I'd like to say, you know, than I'd like to admit on this podcast that is about anime, video games, and anything cool that cool people talk about. But I've been low on the anime, man. Why is that?
I think I know why, man. At least for myself, I know nothing's really been attention grabbing lately. Not to say nothing of quality has been put out. Nothing that's like right off of that first look of a trailer, of the cover art episode, whatever it may be. Nothing has been like grabbing me like that. You know what I mean? Like you and I both, you know, I would assume I watch a little more than you.
Yeah, as for sure. Yeah,
and even for somebody like me, you know, nothing's been doing it for me. So I don't know if nothing good's come out. I don't know if I'm burnt out because of how good some of these other seasons of shit that's come out recently has been. I don't know what it is, but nothing is really doing it yet.
I definitely feel a little burnt out.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like, and you never really called me on this, and I keep bringing it up, that in the last 5 years, the type of anime that I actually like is slice of life.
Yeah.
And that kind of tells you, I mean, of course, yes, there's great action and adventure anime, and there's great shonen. But, like, my comfort zone, like, when I'm looking for just, like, hey, let me turn on some anime because I just want to relax and unwind.
Yeah, of course.
Turns out to be a lot more, like, slice of life stuff than I'd care to admit on, like, a show where we're supposed to be talking about, like, crazy action, you know, getting clips anime. Like, I like the chiller stuff.
I mean, it makes sense, though. Think about it. Like, you know, a lot of what you're intaking while watching anime correlates heavily with your feelings. So if you're watching, let's just say, for example, Attack on Titan or Neon Genesis,
right?
You're not going to be like, hell yeah, you know, I'm chilled back, relaxed watching. No, you're going to be going through a fucking midlife crisis watching these shows, thinking,
good point.
Do I even exist? What's going on here?
Right. What are we even doing?
Yeah, why am I even working? What am I doing with my life? Is this worth it? You know, when's it all going to end? So I get it, though. Like, everybody has their comfort. And there's even a lot of action titles that aren't super hardcore into that dark and gritty feel, that can give that same feel, at least for somebody like me. You know, if it's like vibrant colors, you're seeing a lot of times a piece, things like that, a lot of good comings to people. I get it, trust me. So I'm right there with you, just different genre.
Yeah, man. I definitely need to get more into the stuff that I've already found and liked, like Jujutsu Kaisen. I still got to finish that. Fucking Hell's Paradise, spectacular show. I haven't gotten past like episode 5, but what I did watch was fucking dope.
Yeah, man.
I just gotta like commit. You know what I mean?
Just make that.
There's also just like too much shit out there right now.
There is.
Not even in anime, but just in like other shit. Like that new True Detective came out.
Yep.
Have you been watching that?
No. I'm on the last season of Sopranos right now.
Oh,
I think
shit.
I'm about 2 or 3 episodes in.
Tell me about this Sopranos. Let's just take some time on this podcast talk about something really important, which is The Sopranos.
We need to. First and foremost, anybody that's a fan of TV series that likes to watch any kind of show, this has to be on your must-watch list. I put it off for years now, and it's easily become one of my favorite TV series I've ever watched.
So like, for you, is it more that it's a, great sort of, I guess, narrative, like the story?
Yeah.
Or is it like the big set piece episodes where there's like the great, the cliffhanger?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is it about The Sopranos that gets you?
The first thing that really drew me in was knowing when this show was actually made and how well put together a show like that was, even still today. Like, we're talking about 20 years later.
Oh yeah, I mean longer than that.
Yeah, longer than that.
Yeah.
It's like any newer title that I've ever watched that could fall under that same category that this does, like maybe like a Breaking Bad or a Ozark, like that style show. Some guys.
Yeah,
is in with like some bad people, or he is the bad person.
Yeah, the anti-hero show. Which is what The Sopranos actually created. Like, The Sopranos was the first big primetime hit on American television that was about a bad person, like somebody that was supposed to be, a morally obtuse, like negative figure, a mob boss, like a guy that creates negativity and harm constantly in his community. And I always liked about The Sopranos that I think a lot of shows today, the mistake they make with that type of character is that they over-aggrandize the negativity. They're like, oh, look at how bad this guy is.
Yes.
Look at how, he's a bad guy, right? But they don't show enough of the consequences of what happens when you're bad. And I think The Sopranos was so amazing in how it showed the movements of life, like how one action can ripple across, multiple years and affect things, and the way that, them having to kill one of their, friends in the
best friends,
in the mob, how that affected that person's family, how it affected that person's son,
and it was it was more than just Tony, like that. As crazy as that was the first thing you said, because that was gonna be my next point, was how like he's not just the mob boss, because you get to see it from the perfect perspective of everybody around him and him at the same time, right? So where you have this character that should be only shown in a negative light, they actually do the opposite, and I think that's what works so well for not only the show but Tony Soprano as a character, right? Because it now brings that sense of realism back to where you can relate to this. Like, dude goes to therapy. Even in the show they talk about, that's not something that happens. This is not a normal occurrence for these kind of guys who are put in this position of power. They just deal with shit, live their life, do what they do, whenever, however. And I liked it so much because you feel more from him. He kind of like exceeds what you're already gonna assume he's gonna be within the show. Right. Like so much more, and it becomes very hard to look at him as the mob boss at that point.
Yeah, I mean, you see so many layers to Tony, and you see almost how, in a way, kind of how he stumbled into this position. Yes. How he's definitely risen to the occasion, and he is competent enough to be a boss, but he wasn't necessarily like this power-hungry psycho guy. He just rose through the ranks in the mob. He had a code that he lived by. Yep. And he expected others to live by that code, and truly believed in his position and the importance and the necessity of it. He is what I would consider a true believer, right? Yes. Like, there are certain types of anti-heroes or negative types of people, and some of them are, manipulative psychopaths, or some of them are insane. Some of them are just truly believe that wherever they landed in the, cosmic deck of cards of life, like, that is where they're meant to be. Yeah. And they are going to succeed in whatever that is, And I think the backstory of, Tony, of course, having a father that he looked up to that was also this, like, mob figure, I think is such a great way to tell that generational story of, what morality means, when you have generations of people that have to live outside of what the norm is, or what they could look on TV. And I think that's, I'm jumping all over the place, but that's really what makes The Sopranos so great, is that so much of Tony is informed by what he watches on television.
Yeah.
Right? Which is truly the most American way to demonstrate, right, like his experience. And it's also in his era, right, that 21st century, you know, expression of existence being constantly informed by what you're seeing on a screen.
Because that's at a time where it was like not known about as much, you know. That was still at a time where people who in real life were so glued to the TV, so entertained by it, they didn't realize what was really happening. It's all part of programming. But I think who directs The Sopranos? You know,
David Chase is the creator. Yeah,
I think that was one of the key points that worked so well for the show as well. All of those little scenes, because you know, you have already being watched it, me almost being done with it. Like, there's not like a super high emphasis mark placed on that, right? Like in a lot of those scenes where he is watching the TV, it's for like brief moments, maybe while Carmela's talking to him, or Meadow is, or AJ, like whatever's going on. But they make sure to give you the right amount of what is applying to his current situation while watching the TV. Like at a time of loss, when he's watching TV, it'll be a movie or something else he's watching where, you know, somebody's dying, somebody's dead already. And then at other times, like if he was ever feeling down or like questioning if he should really be in the position that he is, it would be like an old mob movie on. Yeah. You know, like to kind of gain that confidence back. Like, this is exactly what I should be doing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like the ups and downs of his trials and tribulations are kind of just not only shown to him, he's aware of them as he's watching. And
also like this reinforcement of the ideal like man that he's constantly trying to live up to, right? Yes. Like that's kind of one of the first big blow-ups he has with Melfi, is he's like, whatever happened to the strong silent type, you know? And it's a completely unrealistic, idea of what a man is supposed to be. But to him, it's as real as day, because what is he doing? He's watching it on television.
Exactly.
And his inability to recognize that that's false and that his reality is more real than what he's seeing on television. I think that is like, as far as like a message that a television show could tell you, I think that is probably the highest point.
Absolutely.
In TV.
It's peak character development.
Absolutely.
You know? So, I mean, you can't really get any better than true mob boss turned into a, I don't want to say influential man, but just a very self-aware man. Yeah. Who, like you said, while living by his code, knows to kind of change the inner workings of his morality at times. Right. Although he comes back on it.
And I also think that like Tony's inability to do like the bare minimum to keep his family together, right? Yeah. Like, of course he can provide for them financially, but that's really the after effect of him pursuing his own gains as a mobster, right? Like, of course he's going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars a year, to be able to give to his family because he wants to advance as a mob boss, right? But anything that he has to do like for his family specifically, he can never quite do it. No, and it's incredible too the way they get Edie Falco's character to wrap her mind around like the experience of being a mob wife, you know. And I think that's why, you know, Carmela, Edie Falco's character, is such a, you know, seminal character in television and film, because like she really is like as close as you can get to being a bystander to something like a Tony Soprano, right? Like she's really going to be the closest person to him, and how she's affected really tells you what kind of person he is, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I thought that the juxtaposition of, and I hate using that word, by the way, if you heard juxtaposition and you didn't cringe, get out of college. Just leave. Walk out of your dorm. If you're listening to this in your dorm, just get up, walk out. You should cringe anytime you hear juxtaposition. But anyways, the juxtaposition of the New York boss. What was his name?
Carmine?
Yeah. No. Sacrimony. You saw how much Johnny Sack loved his wife, right? Yes. And like it is possible. Like so when we say like, oh, it's the circumstances of Tony's existence that makes him unfaithful to his wife. No, that's not true. Because John Sacrimony is absolutely faithful, you know.
And not in a mean way do I mean this, but there's a clear difference in Johnny Sack's wife and anybody else's wife that's involved with the mob, because it's even shown so many times throughout the show. she's not easy on the eyes, or as you would so call that, you know, being easy on the eyes. She doesn't fit that narrative well. So you're right, and I didn't think about that in that sense, because that was one of the first things I noticed about him. It's like, you can still have that balance of your stone cold killer. You're making all these moves that everything you're doing is illegal, but still come home and be that
and
family
be a loving man.
Yes.
Like, that's the thing that, and I thought that's why I thought John Sacramone was such an incredible character.
He is.
Was because he was more ruthless than Tony.
Yes,
he was ready to fucking kill Tony Blundetto. Remember?
And Karma.
Yeah,
his boss.
Yeah, he was ready to fucking go murdering people, like,
literally,
very quickly, and Tony was the one who was constantly talking him down.
Yeah, like, slow down, bro.
But when he came home to his family, he was, the most gentle, loving, provider that they could have asked for, and I thought that was such a great character to add to the show. What do you think about Christopher Moltisanti?
Honestly, he is as a character.
Yeah.
He was and still is one of my favorite characters in the actual show, because I feel like anybody else that's within the Soprano crew has a lot of similarities to somebody else within their crew, right? And then you have Chris over here, who's kind of just like, if I can say, I would call him the wild card, right? Because you see him go through so many different things throughout the show, right? Like, he battles drug addiction. He almost falls down the path of domestic violence with his girlfriend. He has kind of a mental breakdown with not yet being a captain, but being as close as he is with Tony and watching everybody else kind of eat while he's waiting and wondering. And him also being, if I'm not mistaken, the youngest in the crew.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. At his level, he's the youngest. Yeah.
What I liked a lot was they clearly show his loyalty to the family. Like, if I can make a relation, he would kind of remind me of Bodhi from The Wire. He's like the best soldier that Tony has, because any other time where you come across a scene and Tony's got a task for somebody else to do, you can kind of see where they question it. You know what I mean? Question it or wonder whether or not he's making the right call. And although Chris would do the same thing at times, he'll still go straight to doing the task. Like, he'll get right on. He's right about business. He knows, like, no matter what's happening, this word is coming from up above. I have to follow this word, go through with it, take it, and all that. And again, I like right now where the show is at. I like what they did with his character, because he was before it showed it. He would have been the last one I thought would have been battling a drug addiction. You know what I mean? Like to that extent, because he gets into heroin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he really, like, falls off the cliff when he.
But I thought Christopher's drug addiction was very much like Tony's, like, infidelity addiction. Tony just decided to not use drugs, but, like, he was absolutely unable to stop himself from cheating on his wife constantly.
Bro.
So it's like, as much as I definitely think Chris was one of those characters that was never going to make it out of the show. I knew probably by the 4th season that the show would end, but Christopher would not be at the end. He was just that type of a character. That.
Slow down.
What?
I don't want no spoilers.
Oh shit! I thought you saw everything. My bad. Hey. Okay.
No, but I know what you mean by that, because I can tell that too, because it's kind of like, not to go too far off the rail with this, but, like, it reminds me of Jax from Sons of Anarchy in the last season of Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Have you watched that?
No.
Oh, okay. Good show.
Yeah, I've heard.
It's similar. It's
I've heard it's very similar. Yeah.
Crime organization and whatnot. But the main character, like, once you see all of his actions and just the way he feels about everything, his mental state towards the end of the show, like, you don't know what's coming, but you know something's bound to happen. Like, you almost say in your head, like, there's no way he can keep going about the way that he is and get away with this.
Right. Yeah, and I thought that, Christopher's turn of, like, going back to drugs, kind of deciding, I don't know if that's the part you're at, like.
So right now he's not.
He went
to rehab.
Is he still with Adriana? Okay, he's still with Adriana.
Yeah.
Adriana's not out of the show. Okay.
No.
I won't
She's
say
like, she's like,
has anything
she's been meeting with the FBI.
with the
and
FBI?
shit.
Okay. All right. I won't say
Like
anything.
regularly, as far
Okay.
like from the last few episodes I watched.
Okay, I won't say anything then. I won't say anything. All right, I got some hypotheticals for you. You ready?
Let's get it.
All right. So you're working at your grandfather's store, right? And a woman comes in there, and she's of Arabian descent, you know, and she's like, "Hey, you know, I thought you're really cute. I saw you on the
Two Detroit
Instagram
Nerds
on Two Detroit Nerds podcast. Let's go out. Let's get some coffee."
Yeah.
So like, you know, after your shift, you go, you meet her for coffee, and she's like, "Listen, I actually work for the FBI, and like 90% of your family is involved in one of the largest drug smuggling operations in Metro Detroit. We need you to flip right now, or it's 50 years."
Would I do it? That's what you're asking me. No. So it's basically bring my whole family down.
Everybody.
And
everybody
I get to
goes,
stay free.
Yeah, you get to stay. They're
Just
like,
me, though.
We're gonna change your name. We're gonna move you to Tucson, Arizona.
Couldn't do it.
No.
No, I would that would never leave my thought. I feel like not even for a second of my life.
What if they were like, you know how RICO works? Like, you know, you got 90 years just to get started. Like,
yeah,
we're starting at 90.
Yeah,
you
like,
know,
that's the least of what you're.
Yeah,
gonna
that's
do.
like the first charge.
Yeah.
Like we haven't even processed like the other 200 or 300 years.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, see, the thing is, they wouldn't. Nothing they would say could actually hold. Actually, yeah, I just wouldn't tell because they'd have no way to put me in jail.
Nah, they're like, she tells you, she's like, here's the thing. She's like, here's the thing. Like, actually, the reason why we contacted you, Dom, is because you're clean. You haven't done anything wrong.
Right.
But see, we have this new AI tool where all we have to do is just
fucking say that.
type in, you know, who you are and what we need you to do, and we'll get pictures and videos of you doing all that. So it's time to flip.
Yeah, I mean, hey, bro, I guess, you know, I'm just gonna take that time, I guess.
You're just gonna sit down
think about
on
it,
that?
bro. These are the decisions I'm making off that, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna either go to jail for me for 90 years or put
everybody.
30, 40 people in there for that amount of time.
You got to.
It would suck for me. Yeah,
Right,
I would hate my life, of course. You know,
of course.
I would live every single day in rage and anger, hoping something just breaks. But I'd rather it be me. You know, plus there's a lot of people in my family that can do a lot better out there than if it was just me, anyways. So I'll give them that. I'll take that one up on the chin. I feel like you would do the same.
I feel like I would too, but she's like, you know, that's really honorable. Like, that's cool that like you're an honorable guy. That's dope. Yeah. Here's the thing, like we have a contractor. Like, we're not going to send you to a regular prison.
Yeah.
Like, we have a private contractor that like we have a special prison for, where it's underground and in a mine, and you just break rocks for 23 hours a day, and there's no sunlight. It's all darkness and soot and ash.
In all honesty, bro, it wouldn't. And I don't mean this in a depressive way either. But if I'm in this situation, I'm gonna be real with how I feel like I would think.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not gonna take long for me to die doing that. So fuck it. Dude. I'm not gonna have to go through it for too long.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I think at that point I might flip. If somebody said that to me, I feel like I'd probably break. If they were serious.
I'm just giving my answer now, me as I am.
Yeah.
Not in the situation. Me in the situation. This all could be the opposite, bro.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, man. So, you saw Godzilla. I know we were gonna wait.
Oh yes.
I know we were gonna wait till we talk to Max, but you know, Max will come on and we'll talk about it again. We could definitely do this multiple times because there's a lot to talk about with Godzilla. Tell me what you thought.
Easily the best Godzilla movie to ever drop. The last one I watched was Godzilla vs. Kong.
Okay.
The newer one, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that I like different about this was majority of the other Godzilla movies that I've seen are just like super action packed, right? It's like all about the Godzilla scenes and all the fights. This one, I feel like took the story and narrative way further because you actually follow a lot of the character obviously, dealing with their everyday life, not everyday life, but current situation of everyday, like having to deal with Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
And then, although it's not a lot, the amount of Godzilla you see is the perfect amount.
Yeah.
Like, threat and presence is known from the first sighting. It's always there now, right?
Definitely.
So no matter what you're seeing on the screen, Godzilla's still in the back of your head, like, damn,
Yeah.
when's he gonna pop back up? What's gonna happen next? I don't watch a lot of movies in subtitles. I've thoroughly enjoyed that in subtitles.
Yeah, I did too. I was very happy that it kept the dialogue like only when it was necessary.
Yes.
And it did such a fucking great job of establishing like the world and context of like Imperial Japan, but without making it a big fucking dialogue where you gotta listen to a bunch of shit. Like it was all shot placement, the actual like visuals and the backstories of the characters, So it just put you right in that story, and then immediately like just I thought that two things were perfect about the movie. One was obviously, like you were saying, like Godzilla's threat presence. Like, all right, you're done.
Yeah.
Like, if Godzilla's really actually about killing you,
nothing you can do.
There's absolutely nothing you can do. That was like so well done and always made it exciting.
Yes.
Every time you saw, like, what is Godzilla gonna do now? Like, holy shit, what the fuck? And that was a constant tension presence in the movie. But the other thing, man, was when the payoff was necessary. When it was like, all right, we've been trying to tell you how strong Godzilla is, but now we're gonna show you.
Yeah.
The one thing where the laser beam shit that like blew up half of fucking Japan.
Shit was amazing.
Guys, if y'all want to see what real, like, I think a lot of times because we're so spoiled with Marvel movies, we get this like lazy idea of what CGI or special effects are capable of. But that movie was so fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Its CGI capability of like showing how that fucking whole half of that city was fucking wiped out.
Just demolished, bro.
It like burns in your brain because it's really like that's what would happen, you know? Like,
that's the realest shot of the movie. Right?
That
like,
was the fake shit was the realest shot.
Godzilla pop up one day. Stay where you are.
Exactly.
It's not gonna make it. They did a good job.
The payoff in Godzilla is unlike any other movie I've seen of that type, like of sort of simplistic plot, big budget action movie.
Yeah.
Very, very seldom do you get a payoff like Godzilla.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my brother Max, because I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for him, probably wouldn't have went to see that movie.
Nah, man, that was definitely a good recommend. Definitely shouts out to Max. Yeah. That was worth watching.
It was.
What are some other things? You've been listening and stuff? What's been going on?
I have been. I've been listening to, first and foremost, that Larry June song you put me on to.
Yeah, I know you have. Yeah, I know you have.
That shit's hard as fuck.
Yeah.
I fuck with that song.
That song slaps. And Larry June's always impressive with his like yearly singles.
Yeah.
The past like 4 years, he's had fucking great singles for all of his albums. The last 3, I think, he's had.
How have the albums been though?
Slapping. I mean, they've been pretty good. I liked whatever the album was that Smoothies in 1991 was on was probably still to me his best album. But I haven't listened to this new one. Hold on, what was Smoothies in 1991? I haven't listened to the full album, but I think Larry June has always been pretty consistent, at least for me. He's not I'd give him like a solid 7.
Yeah.
The album is called Out the Trunk.
Out the Trunk.
I'd give him a solid 7. I would say 8.5 because of his production, but like him as a rapper, he's a 7.
Fair. No, I feel probably about the same with that.
But the beats, like, because he works with some fucking incredible producers, he's been able to build up enough of a presence and enough of a team around his like image and style for the past couple of years, because these past 2 albums have been some pretty good runs for him. I think it's coming together. That song, Stickin' and Movin', was definitely a song that felt to me like, all right, I thought he had did a good job with Smoothies, but this is a new level of maturity that I was very happy to see him do.
100%.
You know?
No, yeah, I feel that. I like that song. But no, aside from that, bro, I've been listening to something I know you still haven't listened to that I told you to listen to.
J. Cole's Memoir?
No. It's crazy because you would listen to that before I would.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would. That's
wouldn't
what's
listen
nuts.
to a second of that. No, dog.
I told you, bro, that Big Fizzle album. I know you didn't listen to it.
I listened to like one song. I listened to like one or two songs. So somebody sent it. It's one of your cohort. Was that you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I listened to those songs.
No, I sent you the album.
Then I definitely listened to like a lot of the album.
I don't believe it.
I mean, it was pretty good. I mean, it was pretty good.
No, I don't think it's like
it was
amazing.
Yeah,
like
it was
top
good.
tier or nothing
like,
like that. It's
I'm
just
not gonna hate on
now.
What do you mean, like compared to everything else, kind of thing?
Yeah, like I like it, but it's not like okay. Here's like the only accolade I would give it, at least for now. It's only been out since, for maybe a year. It's good out of everything else that came out that year. I think it was last year it came out. Like it's to me, like that's as far as it'll go. Like it was one of the better albums that came out in its year, instead of an opinion, like it's one of the greatest albums I've ever heard in my life. You know what I mean? So that's about what I'd give it. I've been listening to that, and then bro, I just put my fucking music on shuffle and just when I come across a song I like, I leave it.
Yeah, I've gotten so lazy.
It's weird.
Yeah, I just don't even. I actually deleted my SoundCloud today.
Really?
Yeah, I was just like, I had a great time with all that music. I think I started my SoundCloud like right when I got into college.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much all the music I listened to for a long period of my life.
Right.
And I had some mixes on there too that I'd made. But I was just done with that sound. I also, as much as I love and I still continue to love like SoundCloud rap, I also was just kind of like, if I don't do this, if I don't actually force myself to stop listening to it, I'm never going to make the effort to find new types of music.
Yeah.
So I had to actually just clear the deck for a second and just say, hey, I had a great time with all that shit. I still love it. If anyone ever plays it, I'll always listen to it. But I got to make the effort to like find new shit.
See, I haven't done that as in depth as you probably have.
Yeah.
But I made a change like that as well because same exact thing happened to me, bro. It was about, I would say, probably about 6 or 7 years ago is when it happened for me. When I actually like changed my taste in music fully. Because, bro, before it was like only, what kind of shit, the kind of shit you always like joke about and make fun of.
What?
Like super lyrical rap. No, you want to hear some lyrical shit.
Yeah.
No, you want to hear some J.
Fuck
Cole.
Fuck
you know what I mean?
That.
So like for a long time, that's what it was. But I don't know what it was. Like, I didn't only feel that way. I also, I guess naturally at the same time, begun to change my taste in hip hop or begin to. So I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think definitely I'll go through time periods where if I'm really trying to enjoy like hip hop or like the music of like rap, I have to listen to something that has a message or a story that I want to hear. Like I'll always go back to Food and Liquor by Lupe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's always, there's a song on that album for every moment, for everything.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
But it's never, at least for me, it's never a time where I want to be serious anymore, where I want to get serious rap. I'll listen to other types of music that's serious, Rap to me is kind of a more of a juvenile thing, like, to be honest.
Yeah,
like,
no. All in all, that's what it is. I mean, we're getting older, bro.
Yeah, exactly. As I get older, I'm like, well, if I'm going to listen to this, I'm going to listen like the dumb shit. If I want to listen to, not dumb shit, but like the stuff that I liked when I was, the stuff that I would have liked if I was, for that time. That, you know what I mean? But if I want to listen to something that's like enriching to my soul, I'll listen to jazz. I'll listen to,
of course,
tons
rap's
of
not
other,
the thing to go to for that.
No.
All in all, the best of rap is still
the
core.
It's still it'll always be that golden age, and we have that forever. And it's this beautiful gift of art. Like that'll always be an amazing thing to listen to. You could like, and I did this for a while where I was a big 90s rap fan or whatever, and then I took like 5-6 years off of listening to any of that shit. Then I one day just went down a YouTube rabbit hole and like re-listened to everything, and I was like, man, this shit is so fucking good. It'll
happens,
always
bro.
make you appreciate it. You'll always be able to come back to it and love it, you know?
No, yeah. I mean, that's definitely in the field. Same exact thing for me, bro. I'll have periods of time where, like I said, right now I'll just go to my library, put it on shuffle, and then whatever comes up comes up. And then I have these phases where either something new will come out, and I hate that it's this way, but in most cases it's got to be like an overall good album, right, for something to make me like, consistently just be on it to listen to. But like a lot of it's old shit. A lot of the albums I go to listen to just like album front to back, as opposed to all my music mixed and shuffled. I'll play it for a minute, bro.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It never used to be like that. At one point in time, I would assume like how your SoundCloud journey was.
Yeah.
I was just downloaded so much shit, bro. And I
you just had endless tracks. And yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think we were really lucky to have grown up when we did, when you could just go on LimeWire. You could just, get any type of music at all times on demand, you know? And at least for me, I had some great times listening to some really amazing stuff that had been made in the 20th century, like whether it was, the rap that we talk about, or it was Pink Floyd, or it's, there's so much great shit that, I mean, you could live a whole lifetime and not listen to anything new that came out, pretty much.
Right. No, yeah. No, I feel it, bro. But that's the thing, bro. That's why I feel like I know as I get older, I know my taste in music will change with the kind of music I listen to. But I feel like I'm always going to listen to rap, bro. I mean, not when I'm like 85, 90, I'm turn that shit off.
I'll probably, I mean, think about what fucking garbage will be out by the time we're 85, 90. Rap will probably sound like the greatest shit ever, but no, I mean, I don't know, man. I think music and just the appreciation for it will be different at that time. Like, it won't be whatever our parents think of or however they feel when they listen to Motown or stuff from the 80s or whatever. We'll never understand that.
It's just with the times, bro.
Yeah, it's just
that's literally what it is.
That like what we see and what we feel is like a two-dimensional version of, like, barely a two-dimensional version of a very three-dimensional thing for them. You know, imagine like we don't know what Jerry curls smell like. You know what I mean? We don't. You know what I mean? We don't know what it feels like to go into a place and there's a disco ball. You know what I mean?
Just on the regular,
unironically. And hearing the type of shit that like we'll listen to now, or we'll hear at like a DJ mix at Spotlight, and think we're cool. There were people who actually were there, like when that was being played. For real. Not as a joke.
And those people. Wait.
What?
What do you mean?
Like, we listen to it now.
Mix, Yeah, we would offend people. From our take on it now, then.
Yeah, whereas people back then, like, who actually heard it when it was a real,
okay, I got
unironic thing, that was a new type of music. Like, yo, this funk, this Parliament, nobody's ever heard it before. Nobody's grandparents told you about it. It was just a new thing. Somebody just put it out and and they were actually on Quaaludes at a place. And there's a disco ball, like, that's a whole nother. You know what I mean?
That's a whole different life, bro.
Yo, that's what I'm saying.
It's a whole other dimension.
And that's what, like, I really am so annoyed by when I see a lot of these films that are supposed to be, biopics about, great musicians. I thought the James Brown one was kind of cool. Still not what I would have liked to have seen. I think they really could have focused on some other cool shit. I think just like there's been like 3 Elvis movies, there need to be 10 James Brown movies. That, like, how has there only been 1 James Brown movie? How the fuck is that possible? What? Yo, James Brown has, there needs to be a, how Game of Thrones has like 6 seasons? Like every episode's 1 hour. That should be, there should be an HBO James Brown, like, production level. 6 season, 1 hour long each episode, chapter by chapter. Of fucking James Brown life.
I'm not laughing because I disagree with you. I'm just laughing because,
bro,
you're right.
do you know how much? You know what I mean? Like there is shit. Yo, James Brown did a fucking concert in Zaire, like in what's now the Congo in Africa, in like
Listen,
1971, and there
Yeah.
was like 2 million people there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that could just be one episode. You know what I mean? That was like 30 years into his career.
But you already know why that hasn't happened also, although it's a decent amount of time after. That's what they did with Michael Jackson, bro.
Bro, and that's the other thing. Hey guys, you know what? Like, I'm not even gonna talk about. How about this? If I can't say this, then I don't want to hear anyone talk to me about that they've ever seen a Woody Allen movie.
Okay.
Don't ever, if you're listening to this and you're about to get mad about what I'm about to say, I hope you've never seen a Woody Allen movie. I hope you've never seen anything or I hope you've never liked an R. Kelly song. I hope none of that has ever happened to you. You're clean. Yeah. Those things have never happened to you. Here's the truth. If you could just take just one fragment of Michael Jackson's life, right, and turn it into a biopic, into a movie, a TV show, a series, it'd be the single highest rated, biggest selling thing of that year. If it was done right with the right, if you had a big actor attached to it and they were doing like the story of the King of Pop, right, and you had a big social media campaign, it would be the biggest movie of the year, right? Why hasn't there been that? Why hasn't anybody done that? Why hasn't anybody done that movie? He's been dead for a long time.
Yes.
Why hasn't? And the thing is, people could tell you, oh, the family and the rights to the. You could break him off $1 billion. I mean,
it's gonna generate well over
Sony.
that.
Yeah, it's gonna. Sony could throw them $300 million. They'll shut up. They will all shut up if you gave them $10 million each, for a movie that you were already gonna probably spend $100 million just on the advertisements. So let's shut up about the $50 million you'll have to give to
no flack.
You know, like, so this I believe that there really has been this directed campaign to not only destroy Michael Jackson's name, right, which they did before he died.
I know.
But also to try to never, aside from his music, which you can never suppress his music. It's impossible. But to eliminate his legacy in any type of narrative media, in any type of movies or TV shows, because then the only way you'll get to know about Michael Jackson other than his music, you'll have to Google him, right? And then what happens when you Google him? Oh, he's this, he's
you
that.
directed where you're supposed.
Yeah, but if you got to see a movie celebrating his, and there have been movies when he was, alive, young, like the Jackson 5 movie, which I think is great. Have you seen that movie?
The one that's like 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah, dude, that shit is dope.
When I was a kid, bro, I used to watch that shit. It used to come on BET and shit. I would just be glued to the TV. Hell yeah, I used to watch that.
That shit was fucking sick. But I remember going to the Motown Museum for the first time because, we're in Detroit and we can do that. But I remember going when I first moved down here or up here, and they have the glove and the hat, and they also, I think, have his cradle or something, or his part of his room or something is in there. They have a bunch of like Michael Jackson stuff that I don't know if it's still there, but when I was there, they had a bunch of Michael Jackson stuff.
Damn, that's dope. I'll have to go check that out, bro.
Yeah, man, he was here. I mean, this is it. This is the place.
This is where he.
This is the place.
He wasn't just here. This is where he got realistically found out from.
Really, no.
His performance here, just not saying he wasn't popping already. I'm sure he was.
Yeah, but ABC did. Yeah, that was it.
Come on, bro. Yeah. That shit blew it up, and it's crazy because I feel like things like that, like at that time, it was very selective. Selective and like you're only gonna hear certain stuff from Motown. You're only gonna hear certain stuff from the California radios, like all over. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't how it is now.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. It just showed the difference of the eras.
Yeah, no, they
because now it's way different, bro. You get way more famous now and it's not a shot at any new artist, but I don't feel like for like really proving and showing that's the wrong way to say it. It speaks more about that generation of music than this one because it's so much easier for exposure now, I should say. So I think like going back to what I originally brought up, that era that really, to me, that really shows.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it wouldn't have worked
Right.
But in a lot of times, I feel like a lot of older music would have worked better today than newer music would have worked then. You know what I mean?
No, totally, definitely.
Not saying new music is bad or anything
of course,
that, but that's like a strong testament. But who knows, bro? At the same time, like you said earlier, this is happening within our lifetime. So if shit's already more exposed now, I don't know. Maybe it will. Maybe more generations will feel that way about the music I'm talking about right now.
Yeah, maybe. Do you feel like we'll ever get back to a place where we have talent like Michael Jackson? I don't think so.
No.
I don't think that's possible.
Because I feel like this is not a shot to any of these celebrities, or maybe it is. A lot of people who are famous now are just famous. Like, what I mean by that is Michael Jackson was easily at his time, and probably still high in the ranks today. He was one of the best dancers we've ever seen as a performer.
For sure, yeah.
I'm sure it's probably still the same. Does he or does he not have the highest selling album of all time?
He did. I know Thriller.
Because like I remember years ago, it had like 50-something million sales.
Yeah, no. It for a while. I think someone beat that recently, but he definitely had for a long time the number one single or number one album. Thriller, number one. I think that was his. I think Thriller was his debut solo album, and I think it still is the number one debut solo album.
Isn't Off the Wall?
I think Thriller came out before Off the Wall. No,
I'm pretty sure Off the Wall came out first.
Let's check. Yeah,
should I fact check?
Yeah, fact check that.
Let's see. Keep talking. Yeah. My bad. Yeah, but no. Anyways, like I was saying, yeah. I mean, I don't think we will. I don't think we'll ever find talent like that again. Because, like I said, so much more was expected at that time. So, Off the Wall came out in 1979. Didn't Thriller come out in the 80s? I'm pretty sure it did. Let's see right now.
You're right. It did come out in the 80s. I think it came out 83 or 82.
I'm about to say 82.
Yep.
But still. I mean, we can talk about, like, album runs by artists. Michael Jackson's album run was ridiculous.
Well, also, I forgot who said this, but there was this moment where there were a lot of musicians or just musical acts, let's call them, at the time where Michael Jackson was doing Thriller or was about to do, or Off the Wall, really.
Yeah.
Like, that was where Billie Jean is on Off the Wall. Or no, it's on Thriller.
Yeah.
Okay, so right before Billie Jean, there were a lot of other acts that were a little bit lighter skin, a little bit better. I'm just saying, hey, this is what I've heard. You know, a little bit more palatable, let's say, to the American eye at that time.
Yeah.
Because remember, Michael Jackson wasn't going to get played on MTV until I think it was David Bowie had to make a big deal about it, and then they did something. But they were literally not even trying to play his shit on MTV because he was too urban, right?
Yeah.
So there were people that were angling to kind of take that type of vibe, but make it, you know, more
a little more upbeat, more pop.
Let's call it a little bit more. The shade, you know, would have been a little bit more palatable, you know, and that I think, from what I've heard, is what propelled the excellence, like that execution of Thriller, of it just being like, you're never gonna compete with this. John Landis did the music videos.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what it is.
It's done. It's a done deal. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened. You know what I mean? Like, it had to be that.
Yeah. No, 100%.
For because Michael Jackson, from all accounts, was not just like a great musician or a great. He was also like an excellent, like, S-class business person.
Yeah.
Especially within the music industry.
Yes.
His, like, ability to make moves and do things to angle and advance his career were, like, he, you know, set clinics for that. People follow his methods to this day.
Does that come with, like, does that come from his stardom? You feel like?
I think it,
like, having access to those things,
yes.
or is it more like a thing of, like, his stardom, and also, like, he's behind the scenes, like, a demon, if you will. Like he knows how to get that shit going and get it done.
He definitely knows these people, like the people that we think of as these big, untouchable. Like Michael Jackson is right there with them in terms of what he can bring to the table. He is $1 billion. You know, he doesn't need a company to give him that. He could, you know, he could just generate that by being him. So by that fact, he's very aware of who else is at that level of generating that kind of, you know, revenue. So when he's dealing with that, and you know, you see how he was dealing with, you know, Steven Spielberg, you see how he was dealing with Disney, you know, I think a lot of times when people look at Kanye and they judge him, you know, I think we really do have to. I mean, despite, yes, the things he says are what they are, but the way he deals with these people on a business level, I think is a lot like Michael Jackson.
It is like that because it's not, in Michael Jackson's case, where in most other stars this would be the case. You know, he's not walking in there like, you know, hey labels, hey A&Rs, I'm the artist. He's going in and they're asking him, what do you want? How much we got to pay? You know, like all that kind of shit. And you're right, Kanye's
kind of reached that level as well, where he's generating that kind of revenue so he can sit at that table. And I think, you know, did you ever hear that story about Kanye talking about, he was on Tucker Carlson.
Okay.
And it was when he was wearing the 2023 hat, when he just came from wearing the like White Lives Matter shirt in Paris. And he was talking about to Tucker Carlson this little feud that he got into with Jared Kushner, because you know how everybody was like, oh, Kanye, you're so disrespectful. You're saying that you were, you know, with Ivanka Trump or whatever. And he like breaks down what happened, and he was like, so Kim had released some brand called Skims, and he was a 5% owner of Skims, even though he had like given her a lot of the designs, but it was his wife, and he was like, yo, this is your thing, but whatever, you know, I'll just take 5% for whatever, you know. And she also had some other investors who were a part of like some financial group, some venture capital group that Jared Kushner was a part of, and they took 10%, right? So Kanye asked Tucker Carlson like was like trying to follow Kanye when he was explaining this, like right now, like if you're listening to this to me, you're like,
no, I'm following.
Why is he babbling about this? And Kanye was like, how would you feel if somebody invested in your wife's company and her pictures of the company are her in a lingerie selling her body, and he's making double what you're making on the back end of her selling her body like that? And like you see Tucker Carlson's face kind of and it just kind of makes this, and he's like, that's the level that they're fucking with you at. Like that's how that's at that level of power and control. That's how someone says fuck you. They don't say it to your face. They don't need to say it to your face.
You'll find out.
They'll take 10% off the back end, and they didn't even tell him. He found out that they were taking double what he was making off of his own wife's lingerie brand.
How wouldn't you go crazy?
Yeah, I would start snapping on niggas. I would, in fact, probably start wearing like a mask and going on Alex Jones and being crazy. I think I would start doing shit like that for sure.
100%.
You know what I mean?
No, I mean it comes with that, bro. I mean, regardless of how anybody says someone should react, certain actions bring on other reactions.
Yeah, man.
I'm not saying people are always justified, but it's something that happens, so you got to be real with it. Don't be surprised if it doesn't go this way because you think it's going to. You know what I mean?
Man, I think a lot of times people genuinely think that it's not a intentional thing when things like that happen, or that or that to immediately identify it as intentional is to be paranoid. But I feel like when you're someone that has the quality of someone like Kanye, who can be so manic that they can sometimes like be fiendish and crazy and insane, they can recognize that in someone else. They can recognize the ill intent, you know, in someone else, because they're so capable of that themselves. You know?
So it's like a gift and a curse type thing, bro. It's like, well, I'm cursed with this, but I know how to do this, which is that's a good skill to have under your belt.
I think I think everything's trade-offs, right?
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, nothing in most cases is all one-sided, right?
Yeah. So we're at an hour, and here's where I am now going to use the rest of the time to really ask you a serious question, man.
Can't wait.
Why have you not seen Neon Genesis Evangelion?
The conversation we already had, bro. It's
What?
not a like a thing to just put off. Like, I'm gonna get at Adam. I'm gonna piss this guy off. I'm just never gonna watch it. You know, like you do with all the music I send you. So
I listen to all the music you send.
I know. I'm just joking. For a minute now, bro. Honestly, like I have not. Like I've not been watching any anime since I started watching The Sopranos.
True.
If I turn my Xbox on, it is to watch The Sopranos, or I'm playing
Xbox,
Pal World, or Call of Duty.
True. I need to download Pal World.
You do need to download.
We're gonna talk about Pal World all next episode, guys.
Yeah.
Next episode is gonna be a very Pal World heavy.
Yes, it is.
Episode. Yeah.
We get ready for it. But yeah, that's all it is, bro. It's not a spiteful gesture.
But the thing is, like,
I know, bro. I'm missing my experience on the greatest, not just greatness, the greatest.
No. It's just like I've been telling you about it now for like I don't know, man. It's been like a year, 2 years almost, a year and a half.
No,
it's been a long time. I've been telling you about Evangelion since we met.
Yeah, you've been telling me. Yeah, you're right. But you didn't. No, I didn't watch it right when we met. I don't think.
Yeah,
I think it took a little minute.
No, I could tell because you weren't also telling me that it was the greatest anime of all time. Like, if it's not your favorite anime, then you haven't seen it.
I mean, bro, that's actually you should become. You should work for Neon Genesis Evangelion.
They don't need me.
No. They don't need you. I'm just saying something to like fulfill a purpose in your personal life. You know, like a sense of satisfaction and joy. Like, there's no, I'll defend this till I die.
Well, I think it would be just good so that you understood so much of our branding, you know, and our vibe and our style. Like, the reason why there's purple behind us right now, like, that's because one is purple. That yellow is the same yellow, from Two Detroit Nerds that's on Evangelion Unit 1. The music that we use in our last two clips, if you go on our Instagram, which is at Two Detroit Nerds.
Yeah, I know. I understand
the music from Evangelion. You know what I mean? Like, it keeps popping up.
That's your side of it, right?
Okay.
My side is gonna be completely different.
But you haven't dropped anything.
No, bro.
All my stuff's been Evangelion heavy, bro.
And but I'm not. I don't feel like. What's it called? I don't feel like I don't ever feel like that way about one title.
So
like I don't have.
That's
like,
true, actually.
You don't have.
Like, you don't have.
If you ask me what's the greatest anime of all time, it's not that I wouldn't be able to come up with an answer. It would just be hard to give you my honest answer because I don't feel that way.
But I just thought of that. You don't really have like a number one anime that you like ride for.
Yeah.
I just thought about that. Why is that, Dom?
Oh, bro, I'll tell you. I mean, if I ever had to give an answer, I can give one right now. It would probably be something like Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood as being the greatest. That's solid. But anything that's in my favorite watches either didn't end well, isn't finished, or I don't know. Those would be my only reasons, right? Anything else that would be in my top list, they come with some baggage, and that's why I wouldn't consider them the greatest. Does that make sense? Like, Hunter x Hunter is one of my favorite watches. I would never say it's the greatest because it's unfinished.
Okay.
And it's not like an unfinished, like, oh, maybe more will come out. Like, the manga continues. You know what I mean? That's what I mean by unfinished. Bad ending would be like Naruto. I'm wearing the shirt. This guy right here, look at my shirt.
Yeah.
This guy right here.
Yeah.
Should have been the final boss, the final antagonist in the show.
Yeah.
And it's like the way he gets done makes zero sense. I'm not gonna say it on here. I don't want to be spoil heavy for you.
I mean, I'm never gonna watch Naruto.
All right, then I'll just say it. We can just put a spoiler alert for this clip.
No, I don't want to put one. I want anybody.
All right, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you haven't watched Naruto by now, then
exactly.
So he achieves the perfect form, the form of all forms that you want to become as a ninja, right?
Right.
There's clear evidence with feats and things you see on screen. There's no way he's losing. Right? Like, and you see it. He doesn't lose. The way that he meets his demise is somebody that's been with him from the start, from like years and years ago. This being stabs him in the back,
and he just dies,
and then turns him into somebody else who is now the final antagonist of the show. And it's not a good ending to me because you literally spend a few episodes on this final person and know like nothing about them.
Could it possibly be because Naruto's not good?
No. That I wouldn't say
Naruto's not a good show, and even
no. I wouldn't say no. Naruto's a great show, bro. I would never say it's bad. No, because if I have only one complaint about it, and it being how the author decided to tell his story with the ending, I mean, if you take that part out, it's one of the greatest anime of all time, easily, and manga. It showed that. I mean, be real. I'm not saying this means so much as the greatness of the show.
Obviously Naruto's great. I'm just
I know. Good. You're trying to get on my skin?
Yeah, I'm just trolling.
No, you're not good.
Naruto's obviously good.
No, you don't like it though. I believe you when you say certain things. So you don't like it.
Yeah, of course I hate Naruto, but I have to admit that it's a show that people like. So, you know.
No, for sure. I mean, I've admitted that to you about Evangelion, but
you've never seen. See, the thing is,
I've
watched Naruto. I've watched many episodes of Naruto. I've literally watched so many
at
episodes.
one point you liked it.
No, it was just on. Like, it was at the time where.
Did you watch it when it was coming out on?
Yeah,
Toonami?
when it was coming out on.
You
Toonami.
didn't like it,
bro. I would literally have to sit there and watch every episode so that I could watch the next. Like,
fair.
You know what I mean? Like,
we had this discussion about. Yeah.
You couldn't like not watch the shows that were on. So I can't sit here and say that I didn't give Naruto a chance. And I even went when I just got a Crunchyroll and I was like, all right, well, everyone likes Naruto. This is in like 2020. I was like, let me try watching it, and I fucking turned it off. It's terrible.
Yeah, it's just like hater shit.
It was just absolutely just bad.
I hope, not saying I'm gonna like force this. I hope that's my exact feeling about Evangelion when I watch it.
That's the thing, is that there's no one that I know, or no one that I've shown Evangelion to. Like, for example, our mutual friend Owen.
Yes.
Owen has a very like strict anime rules. He's a serious anime guy. He does not take my like bullshit of, you know, hyping shows that aren't good, which I do a lot of. Like, he does not.
I haven't heard you do that.
Yeah, he doesn't. He
just music.
He definitely is takes it much more seriously as a medium, right? He watched Evangelion. It's one of his favorite shows, you know?
Yeah. I don't feel like I'm not going to feel that way. But another thing, we've talked about this multiple times. I have to be in the right state of feeling when I watch that kind of show.
What? But you haven't seen it. You don't know what kind of show it is, man.
No, what I mean by that is before going into it. No. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in like only praising it. Like, that's the show I want to be locked into, not a show that I think is gonna lock me in. I want to be locked into. You know what I mean? The difference in that.
I see what you're saying.
So I don't want to like throw it on and start watching, you know, and like I'm not saying it. This will cause it, but like if I fall asleep, right? If I'm just like super tired, I don't want to miss shit. I don't want to go back and rewatch it. Remember, I want to watch it in the right orderly fashion to get the best experience, because everything I have watched that way, it's always worked out better for.
You know what we should do? We should, once we get the live stream going here, we should live stream you watching Evangelion for the first time, and then we could do like an episode by episode review. That would be cool.
We can do that.
That would be sick.
I'm down.
We should definitely do that.
Yes.
And even if we don't get to live stream it, let's just do an episode by episode review. I think that would be dope.
That'd be easy.
We should definitely do like a little mini series of Dom watches Evangelion for the first time. Yeah, let's make that content.
Let's do that, bro. I'll get a pick going for you as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, find me. I mean, it has to be also a one season, or
I know that's the first thing that went into my head was just one season. I'm not gonna tell you go watch
Naruto,
some 600. Yeah, I'm not gonna tell you to watch Naruto or One Piece or something.
Yeah,
you know?
we can't do that. It's got to be comparable. But
no,
I'm definitely down to trade shows and do that shit. That'd be dope.
Yeah, it would be, bro. I mean, just I don't know, shit.
Yeah,
shit just ain't doing it. Like I said though, man. I'm mad we didn't have too much to talk about today about anime, because I was hoping to. I mean, we still could, honestly. Let's be real here.
I mean, this is the great thing about now we have our own equipment. We can just fucking pause